Hi, welcome to Queer Reality Tarot. My name is Ro. This is a reading for February. It's February 1st today at the time I'm recording this. So happy Imbolc. It's a full moon. It's the first of the month. We are about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks away from entering into the year of the fire horse. Um, yeah, I felt kind of weird about doing this reading, just thinking about how the fact that we're in this like racist occupation um, country and just how that's so out in the open right now. And it can feel really frivolous or um, in a lot of the spiritual community, there can be bypassing, kind of like ignoring, just trying to keep your eye on what's positive. And what I've been really working on is holding both, at the same time, like feeling into acknowledging what's going on, being aware of what's going on, thinking about what is my role as far as contributing to getting more free and helping folks that are being targeted, and just thinking about so tarot can seem kind of frivolous, like I just was just saying. And just in the spirit of holding multiple things at the same time, there's also more fear right now. There's more anxiety, stress, anger, frustration. And so I've also been noticing that in some spaces, like in the town that I live in, there's been more there's a local roller skating club or group, and they've been hosting all these roller skating events with DJs and an area for like dancing for people that don't want to roller skate. And I'm also noticing this sort of uptick in when there is joy, it seems extra joyful. That's kind of counterbalancing the the more serious aspects that are going on. As far there's more singing, there's a lot of people are showing up and getting really clear and focused on what their values are. So with that in mind, thinking about this tarot reading, what I want to focus on, and a friend of mine who's a psychic medium was sharing with me that a lot of the people that they've been working with, there's a lot of depression, people like drinking more, doing kind of like self-medicating, trying to deal, and people that are also sensitive to the collective can be experiencing headaches and physical symptoms. So I would like to do this reading on, sometimes folks have done readings with me know that I kind of imagine like if a spirit helper, a well ancestor or whatever could write you like a prescription, like here's what I want you to go do to kind of help follow the crumbs. Because part of what the place we're in right now and what we've been in since the start of this country, this political occupation, is we know oftentimes what it is we don't want and what is it that we're moving towards, sort of like what's the medicine side of this. And if we are only focusing on anger and frustration, in some ways they win, so it's kind of like, how can we hold both things? How can we still plug into taking care of ourselves, doing what we need to do to be our most fullest self, and whatever it is, like part of the puzzle piece, the community puzzle piece that we're here to contribute, So that's my gift today. This tarot reading is going to be, what do you need to do to take care of yourself right now, or what might be helpful for you right now as we get through this particular cycle we're in right now of this sort of clown show, occupation, attempt at fascism kind of situation that we're in. So what would be good for you to pay attention to or to kind of step into? Okay, So I'm going to do 3 different readings like I've been doing here. So you pick one of these 3 cards, and then I'll do 3 readings based on those, okay? So let me go ahead and switch and get my lights on here. Whoa. So this is from the Celtic Tree Oracle. This is the Oracle deck. So I'm going to go ahead and bring these a little closer, but you don't need to overthink it too much. But this is Hawthorn. This is More the Sea. And then this is a willow. I don't know how to pronounce Irish. But these are the 3 cards. So without thinking too hard, just go with the one that you feel drawn to. Okay, and we'll start with group number 1. And stick to the end or skip to the end if this is your reading. I'm going to do, oh, actually, you know what? I'm going to do this first. So we've got our first, second, third group folks, but I want to draw 1 card for the collective. This is the Call of the Morrigan Oracle deck. So let's do 1 collective card, like just thinking about the context that we're in right now. If we think about the United States entity as a person, it's making me think of where are we at? What's our role? Okay, so let's see. I'm going to draw us this card. And once again, these are words that I have a really hard time describing. Wow. I've never even noticed this card. So it's number 11. Manannán mac Lir. I'm going to go ahead and look this up. So number 11. Oh, wow. So the key words are ancestors, remembrance, honoring the wisdom of the past. So this Irish sea god rises from the waves. He stands in a liminal space and guards the threshold between the worlds. Holding a skull, he stands as a psychopomp, ushering the spirits of the dead from this life to the next. He is the guardian of Mag Mell, the Plain of Delight, one of many places within the Irish otherworlds. The spirits in the mist at his sides leave behind this world to dwell in his otherworldly realm. In the frothy ocean waves, we can see the shapes of horses. Oh, man, and we're moving into the fire horse. He owns a magical horse that could travel across both land and sea, running faster than the wind. Like Manannán, his horse could traverse from one realm to another. So the divinatory meaning, it says this card signals a time to connect with the ancestors. They may be blood ancestors or ancestors of spirit. Oof, I'm getting like the energy flows. How have these ancestors shaped you? What wisdom have you gained from them? How can you honor their memory? Whew. It may be time to listen to the messages you're receiving. Be open to the wisdom of those who have gone before. What lessons can you learn from them? What wounds from the past might need healing? It may be time to connect with your ancestors. Wow. So Manannán rules over the oceans and the power of water. Are you moving with the tides of Manannán's water or struggling against them? Manannán can also represent journeys to the other worlds and stepping into liminal spaces. So, yeah, this is beautiful. It's really making me think, the ancestors of this land, the history of what's happened on this land since it became an occupation, and just thinking about our ancestors and what we inherited, the wounds that still need to be healed, the baton, that gets handed off to us to finish up the things that haven't been finished. Even if we could say, well, I didn't start this, but that baton is handed to us. So thinking about how can we honor our ancestors and really meditate into, pray into, under like have conversations with the ancestors of this land or our lineage, and what do we need to do to help finish the karma of this land. Wow, beautiful. What a beautiful image. Trying to get it in the camera here. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into the individual readings. So we'll start with the Hawthorne folks first. Wow, so thinking about that is kind of the umbrella of this spread. Thinking about your relationship with your ancestors, your relationship to the land here. Do you communicate with the land? Do you talk to the land? Do you honor the ancestors of this land? What do we want to move into as a culture, as this old culture dies? What has been lost that we want to reclaim? You know, thinking about all the things that the colonizers have taken from us, you know, controlling so many, anything that connects us to the divine, you know, has been taken and like sold back to us. Okay. And thinking, when I think about that, like what has been taken and sold to us, it's sort of like, what ancestors do we have that we don't even know about, you know, that did have a relationship to the land, that were still in right relationship with the spirit realm. Yeah, okay. Okay, we're going to go with this one. Okay, so thinking about, this is the medicine for you in this time. Like, what would be your prescription if spirit were to write you what to do, what to step into? So we have the Five of Voices, or the Five of Swords, the Page of Emotions, or the Page of Cups, and the Hanged Muse, or the Hanged Man. So the Five of Voices card, this one is about that which kind of tears us apart, like conflict, competition, cognitive dissonance, a disagreement. So it feels like, I mean, honestly, this just feels like it's really in, as we know, it's really in the air right now. And the medicine in this card is that it doesn't mean we look away from the things that are happening. It doesn't mean you look away from conflict. It's looking for ways to care for yourself. So it can be like, this person is kind of like stretching. It's like neck stress. So it's, how can you take that time for yourself to go into meditation, to stretch, to be outside, to feel into nature, to feel into that sort of inner groundedness. Because if we're just all consumed by the conflict, it kind of I can see like it's sort of like tipping the scale. It's like it's giving energy to the fascist clown show. And so to hold it down for yourself, it doesn't mean you don't have to stop feeling what you're feeling, but to have it be grounded in a place of that sort of inner knowing and taking care of yourself and eating well, that there's so much power in that, and resistance, really. So that's your first medicine, is take a bath, do that, like do stretches, meditate, like whatever, or take a walk in nature to make sure you're in there's like a grounded place below those other feelings. This one, the Page of Emotions. So the page has all this energy of, for a lot of us, when we first move out of our family home, it is like, I think that's the card, or the energy I think around the page. It's like, I could do this, I could do that. It's this energy around all this potential. And this card, it's so emotions, or cups. So these are our relationships with people, how we feel into our emotions. This is saying to really express yourself in a creative way, a heart-centered creative way. It's playful. It's the things that brought you joy when you were a kid. And so it could be that if you're like for an example, it's making me think if you're somebody who has been going to any protests, this is to like one of the protesters that like dresses in like in the frog, like the frog or something, or is kind of like meeting clown show with that kind of playful energy. Yeah, so really plugging. This is also it's counter or it's not counter protesting. Sorry, it's like counter culture to step into your playful, creative, to not lose touch with that sacral creative place in your heart. So really to step into that. And the Hanged Muse, this card, I think about, it's really about seeing things in a different way. Okay, so I'm getting, when you're really stuck in this, like you're feeling really locked into like, this is just terrible, what's going to happen, this, this totally sucks, or this is like, a lot of people are like, everything's just burning down, to take some time to pause and look at things on the complete flip side. And an example might be, this is an occupation. and the more like privileged we've been within the occupation, the more of a shock it is to see fascism, And so one way to look at this is it's always been screwed. It's always been messed up, and that in order for it to really crumble, it had to get really exposed and really shown. Like basically, we don't know the big picture. Like I know people that are getting more back to the land, like as far as groceries have gotten really expensive, or housing is getting really expensive with climate change. There, all the things that are happening, we need to become more community oriented. We need to relearn and be in relationship with the land, so it's also, there's a little bit of, it's not like fully surrendering, it's not that, but it's a little bit of a softening of acknowledging that we don't know the grand scheme of things and what could potentially be a breakdown that needed to happen a little faster because it was already bad, just more hidden from a lot of, especially white people's view or from their like perspective. So that's the medicine here. Finding your base, your inner anchoring of meditation, stretching, whatever it is, walking in nature is like such a big one. That inner anchoring, that inner peace within the turmoil, remembering and feeling into your childlike, sacral energy, heart-centered creativity, and to just kind of soften your grip just a little bit of knowing exactly how it's going to shake out, and that this system was already screwed, it needed to crumble, and to just kind of hold both, that there is this everyday terrible things that are happening, and there's a bigger picture that we don't completely know, as far as like the way this government kind of at some point needed to crumble with the economy, climate change, that it's already a racist occupation, that it was bound to crumble. And so, yeah, just kind of like a little bit of surrendering into that is what I'm getting. Okay, so, and then real quickly, I want to see what number 6 is. The hawthorn is cleansing. Let's see. Cleansing, purification, preparation, protection of the sacred. That's beautiful. So maybe that's part of what you're stepping into with, it's just really being like neon lighted I keep coming back to being in nature. And so this really goes with that. Like, how can you bring the sacred? How can you really plug into the sacred with your relationship to nature? And that is part of the medicine for you as far as, yeah, how to deal with what's going on and how to contribute to the collective. Okay, so that is the first, folks, and now we're moving into the second, folks. Yeah, and then actually going back to the first, folks, also thinking about the call of the Morgan deck, how it was like, yeah, like tapping into our ancestors. So this might also be thinking about your relationship to plants and what is in your ancestry. That is there might be a blood ancestor or an ancestor of the land who will communicate with you, or maybe there's something you want to research, certain plants that have always drawn you. Yeah, so I'm really getting like, yeah, neon light towards your relationship to nature. Okay, so group 2, folks, more of the sea. This is so interesting. So this deck, this oracle deck is called the Celtic Tree Oracle, and I don't even remember ever seeing this card. They all are trees, so it'll be interesting to see what that one is. Okay, so what is your prescription? What is your medicine for right now? Whew. Okay, we're going to go with this one. Ooh, the Temperance card. Knight of Materials. 7 of Inspiration. Wow. Okay, so the Temperance card. Wow, this is such an interesting combination. So the Knight of Materials, actually, this one is very much just the energy. Well, these two, what I'm getting is leadership. So it seems like you're being called, there's some leadership calling is what I'm getting. Like, so this card, I'm going to start backwards. This card, 7 of Inspiration or 7 of Wands, the person is pushing aside negative self-talk, worry about being rejected, haters. This is like, makes me think of your soul self, like your higher self, the spark of who you are. That's the part of you that this is what your soul came here to do. And so part of your prescription is to put aside any like imposter syndrome. I'm not good enough. What will people think? This is pushing that aside so that what you're here to do can come through. And the Knight of Materials, this is really making me think of, like I said, we're coming into the fire horse. But horses have, all of the Knight cards have this energy of moving forward with courage. It's scary to step out, to step into our full, like ourself, what we're here to do. It's oftentimes scary. So this is saying to move forward with, see this, like I'm getting beauty and grace, and which is bringing me into this card. And so it's basically like the Temperance is balance. So I can feel into this energy of like whatever it is that you are, your soul is, your higher self, whatever it is, your prescription is, it's time for you to step into this, whatever it is you're here to do. But this energy, the Temperance energy, is bringing, it's like slow, it's a movement forward, but it's kind of easeful and kind of slow, kind of buttery. There's like trust in the timing. There's like a softness to it. So it's courage. There's courage in both of these cards, really stepping into what you're here to do. Like there's a lot of bravery, and it is moving forward with this kind of like beauty and grace and sort of like a soft balance. It's just, It's gorgeous. And it just feels really clear. Yeah, it's so I want to see what the more the sea is. Um, wow, it's the final number of the Ogum. So these are all, it's like a number system. And I remember reading, so these are called the extra fuse. So these are called the fuse, and these are called the extra fuse. So you can see this is like the language of the trees, or the like tree alphabet. These, as far if I remember correctly, these are more kind of like multi-dimensional. And you got the very final one. So more the sea, journeys, the land. Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. So it makes me think of like maybe the equivalent of the world card in the tarot. Keywords are journey or pilgrimage. Oh my God, maternal ancestors and original homelands, ocean, water, your female and male, or no, sorry, your mother and female lineages, the mysteries, emotion, healing. Wow. So this is about stepping into something that resonates with, I mean, I always try to be so careful as a non-binary person. I try to be really sensitive to other people who are genderqueer, and thinking about like decolonizing of gender and not getting hung up in that imagery. So what I'll say is, for me, when I think of the divine feminine, it's, which we all have within us, that's like this sacral chakra space of like this energy source and creation. And that's like what the earth has so much of that energy that this one spiritual person calls it the full spectrum of expression. And so it's like stepping into, it's kind of like the balance of the divine masculine. I think of as like kind of like holding it down, being in support, worshiping that full spectrum of expression. So whatever this is you're stepping into is big and beautiful, and you need to see yourself, as we all need to in the human condition, as you are this divine being. We all are. Like, just as much as you would worship a tree, you need to worship yourself. And whatever it is you're stepping into, it is time, to, with a softness, without rushing it too much, you are moving into this, and to really honor it, that it's sacred and it's needed. Dang. Okay, so beautiful. So that's group 2. We've got group 3 here, this beautiful willow. Oh, just love that art. Okay, so what is your prescription for these times? What do you need to hear? Okay. Alrighty. What do we have for you all? Wow. Okay, well, we're going with this one. This one like practically, like, oh, I felt it really strong. Okay. So we've got, the 4 of Emotions. This is one of my favorite cards. The 10 of Inspiration and 3 of Materials. Okay. So for you, this card is about, so this person, it's about what you're focusing your attention on. So this person is really focusing on that they don't have a 4th cup. They see these 3 cups and they feel like it's hopeless. There's nothing good. Everything's bad. And spirit, or ancestor, whatever resonates with you, is like, oh, honey, look, you are in the 4th cup. And the 4th cup is made up of these gorgeous spirit helpers by the earth by your well ancestors, by your higher self. Like you are so held, you're just not paying attention. So the medicine in this card is to remember to give thanks, to be in gratitude for all that is good, and that there needs to be that balance. So, oh, that's beautiful. The 10 of Inspiration card, this is it's like the burnout card, or carrying too much baggage. It's taking too much on. This is saying you cannot carry all, like you cannot carry everything. So it means you need to hand some things off to others, or you need to cut some things free. But when you are burdened, when you're holding too much, you're not able to fully show up in the way that you can be most of help, and this is so interesting because this just flows so beautifully into, this is about finding support. 3 of Materials. This is, I don't know if I said, this is 10 of Inspiration or 10 of Wands in a more traditional deck. So the 3 of Materials, this is about being in collaboration. In this deck, the black lines mean movement, creation, and this is about braiding and weaving creation in the 3-dimensional world in community with people who you know have your back, who you know they know your heart. So collaboration in community. So once again, remember to be in gratitude, remember to notice the things that are good, the things that are beautiful, noticing the trees, the flowers, the squirrels, who is in your life that you're so grateful for, and to lighten your load, whatever it is you're just taking on too much. So lighten your load. And let's look and see what number 4 is, the Willow. So 4 is intuition, cooperation. Oh my gosh. The moon and the moon cycles, water, emotion, creativity, community. Wow. So you're really getting a double message of remember the gratitude and the blessing of the community that you're in, that you don't need to take all this on yourself, to really lean in with community. And also the moon and intuition, this card, like noticing spirit and noticing, feeling into and remembering to appreciate literally the moon. Here we are in a full moon, but to feel so much gratitude, the magic of things that no fascist regime can ever touch. They cannot touch the relationship you have with the sacred. They cannot touch the relationships you have with others. So to really feel into that and to let that kind of lighten your load, to remember that knowledge, to really let yourself not take so much on, that will lighten your load. Yeah, really beautiful. So that is the Imbolc February 1st full moon reading. Thank you so much for listening. I hope that resonates. And if you haven't already if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. And if you could like this, that would be great. It's so helpful for little YouTubers. And I just wish you a smooth February. We're going to cross over from the Year of the Snake to the Year of the Fire Horse on February 17th. I will be back on March 1st doing a reading for that month, and it'll be interesting to see how things have changed in comparison. Okay, take good care of yourself. Bye.